Una uvanga Eva Omilgoetok ayalik ati Telugu.
Uvanga tau Adam Kudlak of Ulukhaktok.
Uvanga tau ekaluktu Kitikmeot yunga. Pitquhirnikkut Ilihautiniq Pitquhirnikkut mata tainidlu hapkuallu unipkaarutait Pitquhirnikkut qolau unipkaallangnniartai.
Uktoralittukut Inuit Ulukhaktok uvanga ekalututiamillu Johavenlu Inuit Kitikmeot atawaq ikeerpaktugut Inuinnait uktoralittukut Pitquhirnikkut hanaujaqalittu noqaartugut uktormiugut hapkuat Pitquhirnikkut tammaqpiaqmat museum takunnait only could see them in museum almost kimi Inuit atiuitait hanayuitait uktoralittukut to try help bring our culture back to our people. Sorry, it just hits sometimes. On how much is lost. And I'm thankful for people to help try bring things back. But anyways, we're trying to make. I have trouble with language because I speak English a lot for work, and a lot of it's disappearing. And I'm so thankful for people like Eva and my sister and people who speak a lot better than I can. I'm trying. I could understand pretty good, but I have trouble when I try speak. Hapkot Pitquhirnikkut malgoit uktorlinnoartugut Eva Omilgoetok antimik qanaguttumik.
Hapkot Kitikmeot Heritage tainit Pitquhirnikkut uma takupkarniaqqain hamani una qaangani Kitikmeot hamani ihuinngaqtaq unattao tikkuarlugu kuugarmik umatayukta uuyaq unattao ayarvik
unattao hamna ihua
ihualik ihua ihuanga pingahunik allatqinik taamna uqaueqarpiak tutut iligaluartoq kihimi aatsikkiinguyuk ihua ilahimaya lik aanga
ihualik uva ihua uva
ihuanga ihua taamnalu eperingnaq
uvaguttao tuhawaktunga qanoq hamaniitto
gitu
ippeqaq
ippeqaq taamna utoqqaujunarriu uumingaai una nutaamik titeqqeqimannerami naunaittoq
kiimittaoruna hamaniittoq
qeqtaq
uvaga aallangaviartoq aqauhiara qittaq
ja qeqtaq
kuugoruna English is river unattao Pitquhirnikkuna aallangaviartoq taqangangittoqamna
nalrut qiauyoq uuminga
aallangaviartuulaqkiimi aasikitovia atiit aasikituyat
ihua ihualik una ihualikai una mikitreennua una qaangani
and hapkuat hamaniittut kubluqoq
hapkuat takunnartut malruuq
Inuk always used a lot of times to name things either from nature or from the animals or their body parts. And this one we're talking about right here is from your Kublugok and river.
Atikuta. Kuga. Tapkot. Unatok. Taivigu. Ayakvik.
Ayakvik. Una kibya una or ibalu una Inuk atak pagdakariumut. Nokakti or nokakti. Tay maokakpagtay. Ibaluminit hamna kanongum na. Pilgakpak. Pilgakpagtay.
Yeah. Iwaktumigtayat. Ilihimayugudlo. Hanawya yuktutita pitihini uktokotit tapkollu tutkokfit utokkaining tutkokhimayullu pulakhimayatitlu ifreokotit pitihini. Tapkollu unipkalakikkit.
Must be puyok pagtunga. What year? Kimi ilihimayaga iloni nakwamani umaga. Many years ago, one of my most memorable visits was visiting England to look at all artifacts. I always, from a young age, always loved the old Inuk culture, beliefs. I'm sure like many Inuk and people watched the Netsilik videos thousands of times, over and over. That was, to me, that's one of my, we have education. To me, that was part of my Inuk education. Apaga, okakpagtolo, kanak Inuit, ingilgat, inuhimayut, kanak likiak, Inuk, how elders, our ancestors lived. I always could see, sometimes close my eyes, I would have loved to live that before contact, see how life was. And I've tried many times to make things, and a lot of times they break or they don't turn out the way, and just keep trying. I just keep trying. Even if it breaks or if it doesn't turn out like the way I like it. My dad always said, when I first really started making things, Apaga always hanayo. When you finish work or free time, always making something. I watch him make tools, I watch him make ulus, I watch him make tools, to fix things. Not only for himself, but for other people. And how calm he was. Even when something didn't go right, he just stayed calm. And that's, especially when I'm alone, I try work honestly as he was watching me. As honest and as best as I could do. Because I always, even though he's passed on, I always try to make him proud. And watching him make things, use his hands, think and think and think on how to do things, or think of how they were made in the past.
Tamnat tau ka mikagutikangun pitikhileong ng motaw. Aywe kaiga bitap kununga ekaluktuter miutanut pitikhileo kaya mingnik. Kanoret pa.
Nakuyok uktoralit yun. Atawak nawigami at angon atawak na uktalafang mayok. we're learning as we're going. It's a learning process because one thing I always learned was people have different ways of doing things, and there's never for Inuk, there's not only one way of making things. I made it this way. I made a little mistake. Some other people are going to make mistake, but we're trying. I think it's going extremely well. A lot of laughter, a lot of stories, a lot of experiences from different people, and you take that all in, and we work together to try figure out to make as close as we can with what we have.
Qanaqpiaq qutille qolaahuk hamani iqaluktuutia mungaugavit talvuuna hapkuat Pitquhirnikkut Ilihautiniq hamunga iqaluktuutiamut qoyatakiuartu kut talvuuna hapkuat angutiin ilhimayaqqulli angutivut uplumimut Ilihautiniqamiklu Inuit angutit Pitquhirnikkut maliktakhangillua qoyataktugulli hamaniinnavit hamani iqaluktuutiamun qanoqlitaamna ihumagiyatin angutivut uplumimut taima ilihimayakhat Inuit angutit Pitquhirnikkut ingitqutingillu
Aqangnaalagmiunga qablinaatut oqauhitka ayoqqalaqpiaqtuugama oqaqaangama anilimaitto ayoqqalaqtoq tunga oqauhitka tammalaqtuugami hamanga. I'm just going to speak in English a little bit because, like I said, I'm having trouble with language. It's disappearing from me.
So
we're trying to help bring culture back, especially to one of the groups that's the middle-aged men, the older men. And we had something similar to this in Ulukhaktok called Inuinnait Ilihautiniq, schooling from the land. And it was geared more towards middle-aged males because we saw that there was something for the elders, something for youth, something for the ladies, but the middle-aged men or the older men, like in their 20s and 30s, were always left out. And at least for that brief period of time when they would come to these classes, these courses, making things, that it would give them something positive to try do. Even if something broke or didn't finish, but at least it gave them something positive to do that tied into their Inuk heritage, their culture, their ancestors. And for me that was very important because a lot of people, they don't have that, and some people, they just don't have that opportunity to be able to go out on a hiku, to be able to go out on a land, either from not having the equipment or not having knowledge of how to do it safely, or not having a teacher, someone to follow. So I think it makes me emotional sometimes when we used to do that, to see the happiness and the joy. Like one of the ones that are really enjoying is with Gibson and Charlie. With all of them. We sit there sometimes and we stop and we talk. about how I always wonder how Ingilgat, how they made things, made things to make things to make things, and to maintain from nothing.
So in today's society, especially with our men, yes, like it seems like you had mentioned that they are forgotten. The generation of the middle-aged men seem to be forgotten of how are the ways we could revitalize. It could be the culture, the language, and even their self-esteem.
For me, it's their soul connecting with who they are, where they are in life, and when their connection to our culture. Our culture's tammalakpak to me. Our culture is disappearing at now even more accelerated rate than when I was growing up. And I think it's important because there were always this age group and the males were always left out. Not really on purpose, it just happened.
The society itself. Yeah. So do you feel that the men that lived off the land and coming into a larger community, did their skills and their way of life and their skills they left it when they come to the community? So do you think that might be it?
One of the ways I'm thinking about it is they're forgetting. Not leaving, it's forgetting. They know some of it. They remember some of it. It's just like my language, I'm forgetting. Because I'm using English more from work. I know with my kids, I try to speak, but they have hard time speaking because I speak to them in English. I'm forgetting, like the others, they're forgetting. There's some things that I forget when I go out hunting too. And one of the things that I just really enjoyed was one of the ladies. She worked on one side of the bow, and she turned it over and started second side. I like the second side better. I said, yeah, see, you learn from your mistakes. You learn how to do things better as you go along. And watching one get broken, the one thing that I was happiest about was I never heard anybody get angry. I said, it happens. Like in society now, a lot of anger comes out. People get in trouble. The worst people take their own life. And a program like this, at least for that brief moment in time, they're working towards a connection with their ancestors, with their past. And I just loved it when Elder came in yesterday, and he was one of the last ones to use a bow like this. And he got to hold it, and I just could see pictures in his head of saying, I see my hunting duktu with this. And just see that connection there, and then seeing the people we're working with trying to get to that stage.
So passing these skills down to our children would really enhance their well-being. You talked about the heritage you talked about, the well-being of being an Inuinnait, that would also uplift their, like you mentioned, their soul.
Yeah. And some of this, one of the parts that I really, really enjoy is when we put the tools down and we start talking about different life experiences and different Inuk from different areas, how they did things, how they do things, the little differences in our different areas and different words especially. I just love learning different words from different dialects that mean the same thing. And long ago, Inuk from Ulukhaktok, before communities, and the split of NWT and Inuit, long ago people used to travel back and forth. And nowadays it's really hard. 10 years since I've been here, and that was just a pass-through because it was work. And then 97, I think it was, last time I kind of lived here for school. But in the old days, you used to travel back and forth, and now long. It's so hard to go back and forth. I see this as our families coming back together. This program, I'm from NWT Ulukhaktok, but I have lots of family ties here. And I'm so thankful for everybody, whoever put this together, for asking me to come here. It's this is one of my dream jobs.
Amazing. Would you come back here?
Anytime.
Good. Awesome.